Well, the Nifty implied open is indicating an extremely quiet start. Let's pick up on the global data points, and we've got Andrew Freris joining in on the show right now. Andrew, hi, good morning. Let's take a leaf from what Jerome Powell had to say, and he's warning of political pressure on Fed. How do you think it's going to play out? Well, of course, it's been out in the open for quite some time now.
There is absolutely no news except that now, for me, it is much more important that the Department of Justice in the United States is being completely forced by the president to start a criminal investigation, which the Department of Justice knows very well. It has nothing to do with criminal activity in the Fed, but this is simply to browbeat and possibly threaten the Fed. It's very sad to see that justice in the United States is now losing its independence. I mean, for me, this is much, much more important than poor Powell standing up and saying, I don't care what Trump thinks. Okay, I'll carry on doing what me and the 12 members of my board think is best for the American people, not what is best for Trump. It is now getting a little bit boring and very little value added to carry on criticizing Trump because there are so many things that you can criticize him for that we will be spending unnecessarily time in picking points, as opposed to saying, where is it possible to make money in this very, very messy period? I'm sorry, I'm being very blunt.
Andrew, how do you look at some of the commodities? We thought there would be a pause for the commodity rally, especially gold and silver. But again, silver is hitting $83 and gold above 4,500. How do you see these two commodities?
Well, I find it very sweet that here is Trump threatening to invade several Latin American countries, potentially have another go at Iran, and people buy gold. Now, remember, they are buying gold only on the expectation that other people later on will be buying gold, which is, for me, it is such a sweet, childish reaction. But there you go. That's the way the market is wandering. And I imagine if we go back to bimetallism, in other words, the relationship between silver and gold, we will not have anything more to add. I am afraid I am not a lover of gold, not because I think it is a bad idea, at least in relationship to Bitcoin. Gold, you can actually hold it, melt it, jump on it, make it into rings, whereas with Bitcoin, there is absolutely nothing behind it. But the reaction that if, there is a crack in the ceiling, the crack in heavens, and you immediately go and buy gold, I think it's very sweet. But a completely, let's call it a reaction which is unbacked, other than the expectations that other people will do exactly the same that you're doing, which is not the way to invest money. But never mind, there you go.
Andrew, justifiable. US markets at all-time highs, given the fact that rate cuts are likely. I know you don't agree with it, but that is the reality, right? So I'm trying to get a sense of where you see US markets and the golden question which you just spoke about. Where do you make money in these markets?
Yeah, absolutely. You are not going to make money in the American markets. Look, it is only, I'll try that again. It's about 12 days since the end of last year. Last year, the S&P was an atrocious, poor performer, 15%. Okay, South Korea was, 4 times bigger than that. All the EU markets were 30 and over. They are twice the size year to date in US dollar terms returns. The American markets were a lousy performer. I'll say that with no fear of contradiction because I've got 2020 vision looking backwards. I know exactly what the American markets did. They did badly. Okay, and that was a good year for everybody else. So please keep out of the American markets because the domestic situation in the States is in the hands of an administration, let's say, which is incredibly dangerous, okay, to run the biggest and the most powerful country in the world. So there are plenty of other places where you can make money. And I'm afraid, I'm sorry if I repeat this, more than ever defense, buy guns. The Americans are actually telling the world, don't expect us to defend you. On the contrary, expect that some countries were going to attack you. What would be my reaction to that? Okay, I want to buy more guns, of course. I know it's terribly sad and very crude and cruel, but there you go. If you are asking me where to put your money, not in the States. Where asking me which sector to put your money, the answer is defense. Anywhere defense, except United States, of course.
Absolutely, Andrew. Thank you so much for your time and insight today. Good speaking with you.
Thank you.